So hello, because I might post this, but am I've been going through like an awakening, a reawakening, a reconnection to like reality at hand. Um, and like I'm just like listening to like philosophical Black women speak and talking about society, of course, because that's like the major thing at hand. And I'm also in this class, and I'm in the Spelman course and like learning about like civil rights era things and the history of feminism and intersectionality and leadership. And and some pieces are like the timeline of things that have happened to Black people over the past like 500 years is like insane, right? Like, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I already knew this, of course, but like, there, it's just like certain things right now. So it's like I feel like to explain how I got to this point, I had to explain like kind of the journey I've been on a little bit. Um, I mean, if you've been following my channel in any uh I don't know, in any amount, you know that I kind of been through like some shit. But you know that I've like I don't know. I just had this like sudden like blossoming of understanding about the fucking insanity of the society that we live in, right? Like maybe I'm just like having like a break or just like a realization or just I don't know. It's probably the shrooms. So, but the intelligence in me is like all connected to this like realization of like the insanity of the culture that we live in, right? Of like how have I'm like I'm there's phrases that come into mind to like boil down like the insanity of this world that we're in, right? Like literally like to this day white people are murdering Black people for a reason that was created to push forward like the reason white people hate Black people is because of a lie that white people told white people so they can pursue capitalistic gains, and that's still the case today. And like it's become so pernicious is that like the entire world believed this lie, and Black people are still just like, what's wrong with y'all? Like there's like, oh my gosh, like that's all I can think is like, what is wrong with people to just to blame like, of course it's you have to like it's blatant to Black people, obviously, right? It's not in blatant to all Black people though, because there's been all this stuff happening in our own history of things, in our diaspora, in the brainwashing that has occurred in the education system. There's and then just experiences that have caused deep generational trauma to sever sex or tribes of American Black people to be like um separate from uh the rest of Black culture, or even just like anti-Black, or just you know like we see this like Uncle Ruckus mentality, right? And then like there's Uncle Tom's, and then I just like listening to fucking like all this Afrofeminism stuff, and then just listening to Princess Week's video about the magical Negro, and she literally just like said she was explaining Uncle Tom's. I haven't read it for myself. I haven't read every book. Oh well, but like um I wasn't fully familiar with the story myself. So like she said that Uncle Tom was seen as this like, nice, kind, Black man, whatever, slave dude, enslaved man. and he wouldn't snitch on two black women who escaped and got killed for it. There's like, I need to read the story for myself, obviously, but like the fucking like weight of that to me right now in my learning journey about like feminism and civil rights and like stepping out into this modern world and like seeing how society has like built itself up. And it's like, what is America standing on? Like, what is, like, this country, of course, is everybody like with money flowing, things just start to run themselves in a way, right? But like, what is this country even like standing on even more? Like, it feels like as you know, I'm in my personal life, what I'm seeing, and like in the frame of like, I'm, okay, I can be a successful person, I'm fine, whatever. But it's like the mental wall to like break through is because of the existence of these things. Like I've been like as I think I'm on the other side of it now. I think that's what it is. It's like I'm on the other side of that wall of like believing in my and having faith in my success of, in my security of my vision, myself, whatever, right? But it's like peeking over my shoulder, or just, I'm not like peeking over my shoulder, but just like, I think it's more so like the synchronicities are crazy, right? Like the the protector on my screen, the protector on my phone, on my camera, the protector on, I'm so excited, on my camera on this phone like cracked. I don't know where I dropped it at, whatever. Daughter probably did. But it kind of feels like that to me. It's like the filter is like shattered essentially. And it already kind of was for me. I'm just definitely on the other side of the lens now and seeing like bro, this is our world that we live in, and like how do we, it's crazy that every day that like people like, you know, I mean, like I think most people are generally aware of like the insanity of this world, right? And we just have to conform. I was just talking about the psychology of conformity in that little TikTok I did yesterday, and like, um, like Nick, I'm going like full insane mode right now. This shit is crazy. All this information, like we live in a fucking fascist country that's like, oh man, I took a good amount of shrooms. We live in a fucking fascist country, and the whole world's been tricked to believe that it's just normal capitalism. The fucking like, the fact that like, and I mean I already knew this. Like I knew this, but like I watched a video. I watched Fab Socialism's video on like delusion, right? And like after the video was over, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not delusional. I was right about all this. And I think it's just that he is like, I was right about all this. I'm like, the world is really like this. Like the fuck? And I like, and it's not hard to figure out because it's not as if like I'm gonna say like, oh, I have the whole world. I got figured the whole world out before like, um, I even like read anything about it because it was just blatantly obvious in observation. But I think of like trying to like learn about the world or learn these different subjects and things, we want to try to understand more or try to understand why. And it's like the fucking why of all this is literally based on all a lie. And it's just, I see why, like, I see why white people are like that way to each other. And also just like why it's still bad too. Cause it's like because the whole system, everything is built on a lie. So everything is built on a lie upon a lie, and even putting like a couple of truths on top of that lie doesn't make the original lie true. Like, what the fuck? Like, just because Meditations was an amazing, is an amazing piece of published content by Marcus Aurelius, does not mean that Rome did good things. Does not mean that Roman Christianity was the thing for the rest of the world. Like, bro, like Marcus Aurelius was the last real nigga because like after him, like everything fell apart because he recognized all this shit was built on lies. You know, that's why he wrote Meditations. Like, that's why Stoicism and all these practices were becoming a thing, because people were realizing that everything that like. But then I don't even know. Going that far back as philosophy goes, it's like the Greeks were blacks anyway. You know, there's that. But the white supremacy is like, it's actually like a Danish thing, right? Like, it's kind of cuts across like probably what people usually think, but like for my coming at history at like from a lot of angles, the way the Danes conquered England and like post in King Arthur times, right? So it's really been all Danish power since like the fucking like what 1400s, and then they used their naval supremacy to take over England, and then took over England's navy, or England, United Kingdom, and then they want to make all the fucking what do you call that, European peninsula, capes, whatever, into like a Danish. It's like a Danish power thing, you know. But something that I feel I need to be said right there before I move to the next point of being like, but yeah, it's all based on like lies, and people just want to live honestly, right? Like normal people generally, like even like now that I've come down from like a lot of mental struggle over the past couple of years or just my entire life, but like as I'm like coming down from this like PTSD and the effects and healing the effects of it, and like I just want to like live honestly and just live in peace, and like just make it honest and just do what I love for a living, because I feel like that's feasible, and I should, and any person is allowed that. You know, it seems to be the case that like if you're diligent enough, you can achieve that. Um, even in this like society that, you know, really doesn't want black people to succeed for some reason. Um, like even reading about the reason why like stereotypes and like the in it was in the Arabian, the Thousand Nights of Arabia, or where like a story about some Africans are told that created this like, that were so like whatever, it it affected the perspective of black people, of Africans throughout uh Europe and Asia. um it changed the perspective, despite the fact that if Africans had a prominent standing in the world for such a long time, and then just all of a sudden print media comes into play and religion comes into play and decides to destroy black people for some reason, for profit or for power or for access to resources, um even though they even though the resources weren't really that restricted, it was just they wanted control of the resources. Like, how insane is that? And back to the Danish thing, like Hans Christian Andersen was a Danish fairy tale writer, right? and all the Disney stories adapt his films. And then there's like this. I might be going down like a weird. That might be a weird hole to go down right now. Like I need a grown up to go down there with me. All this stuff that is surrounding um the narrative of racism and misogynoir especially, because it's like it kind of just boggles. It's like, how have these images of Africans and the stories that people tell and the stereotypes that get passed and the laws that get passed because of these beliefs, even though it's totally like false, like provably false, like observably false. And then like this is to laugh me to stop from crying. Every laughter is a tear, actually. Because it's crazy. Like I have like this is why I said in my last video, like, niggas gotta smoke weed, because it's just fucking insane. Like how do black people survive in a society without like lobotomizing themselves or being like fucking high or just, you know, half kill yourself to like stay out the system and stay out the way. The insanity of just like black people are not literally not safe in America because this is a white terrorist groups out to get black people because of some lie that someone made up 1,000 years ago so they can get the gold in Africa. And like the animosity that was created in the search for gold or this quest for power just only trickled into like war generals telling their soldiers lies so they can get them to get out there and shoot black people. And like, are you kidding me? Like, this is, and then people want to defend this, like white people, like right, so-called good white people want to defend this idea. They want to defend the lie. No, you can't defend the institution that we're in because it's all a fucking lie. It's all built on like this like stupid fucking shit, and it's like my ancestors. Uh, my ancestors suffered. Our ancestors suffered because some fucking greedy ass and the same mentality, same. Hold on. Okay, because I have like real tears as well because this shit is like my ancestors really cried about this. We really suffered about this shit. Like we're still suffering from this shit, and there are fucking 8-year-old definitely clan members still in office today, still teaching kids, still writing curriculum, still reviewing journals, still fucking doing shit that affects everybody's life. These same fucking evil people are still in fucking power because people just, because they're white and like, and no one's just doing like the fucking due diligence until now. That's why there's so much pushback right now. That's why they keep threatening a race war. But the race war is really an inner race war because it's like there's white people that want to be progressive and normal and just like want to like live like freely and also not have to, you know, and not be complacent in like the oppression of people that they love and care and know, or just in general humanity. And then there's like the fucking legacy of racism, of white supremacy that runs so fucking deep, like not only in America, but just throughout the whole world. And then people like fucking, I'm sorry, you know, I was a big fan of Jordan Peterson. I bought his book. I read it. I follow his YouTube. And honestly, I believe he's a good psychologist. Like, you know, he teaches psychology well. His courses that he has online, they're very helpful for me in learning. And but he's not the only psychology professor out there. Not the only one I learned from, but certainly was a lightning rod for the era. One time, my older brother, called him a white supremacist. I didn't understand it. I was like, "What are you talking about? He just talks about philosophy and psychology, you know, or impacts of philosophy on psychology, and that's something I'm interested in, obviously." And like, um, I was thinking, I just had I processed something earlier as I'm thinking about all this fucking stuff coming to like realization. There's been several synchronicities that I'm about to like break down in this like video, okay? And it all is like about the same thing. I mean, it's just the realization. I came to this realization because of several. There's been like several weeks of synchronicities happening, you know, and generations of synchronicities. Really, honestly, um. So like, I was thinking about Jordan Peterson, and like, um, what was I saying to myself? He has. He may not be blatantly racist, right? But he promotes the idea of Western civilization as like the greatest thing ever, which is just like the vertebrae of white supremacy, right? And like, it's like what came to mind was, it's like they love to say like these people love to say the phrase "don't throw the baby out with the bathwater," which is to say, yeah, everything is great if you ignore the fact that we killed billions of people to get to this point, and we're not going to apologize for that shit at all. Let's just ignore it and just move forward because blah blah blah. Even though these people, this is not trauma informed conversation to be had, and maybe Jordan Peterson isn't as great a psychologist as I think if he isn't being trauma informed about it. And he also he and then like in his valid teachings of psychology and the process of the big five and all that, there's also just like, and then like maps of meaning. And I think that what he and other white apologetic white academia, let's use that term, has like um for my water has like done is like try to make everything about the civilization great, to try to appeal to like the workforce that this society needs to keep going, and to make everyone believe that it's still okay to keep working and keep going forward, keep building on the system, guys, you know. Or just like, if you're gonna, or like if you can't, or like if you're gonna go forward, like I know that we did fucked up shit, but just breathe through it, just forgive, just forgive, without using Christianity, because that was the evil thing that caused like all this stuff. But it's like, I think, you know, this like it, I just have been holding this like frustration about society for a while, I guess. Um, it is it's crazy to like kind of realize it. That's all. I mean, but that's why I do what I do to like focus on like just making a movement, focus on my ways that I can make a difference in the world, just in my own life, for people who are just suffering from this idiocracy that we live under. And like you get, and I wonder if it's like this is like a part of, this is absolutely a part of like mental illness, like, right? Because the perception of the world versus the truth, you know? And it's like, it's either you conform with the perception of the world, or you like, you know, align with the truth that you're observing. Um, because like, there's no like thinking ourselves out of like an abusive situation. Like, you have to leave an abusive situation because you know you're in one. um, like for me, it's like maintaining the the idea that, I feel like I move my eyes so much. I don't have my glasses on. Um, the idea for me, it feels like, it very much feels like, I mean, it's fascism, so it's abusive. It's an abusive relationship the government has with the people, because it's through force. It's through military, police, state, federal force. Whatever it be, there is a force that's against, or that is like squashes revolution, right? Which even hurts my soul to even say. And it's kind of, after doing, with all this research in my, and the history and reality, it really does like hurt to even say those kinds of words, that like, you know that fascism is beyond defeat. But honestly, what I think we're witnessing right now, especially with this age, is a flip and exposure, and like, you know this race of the government to try to restrict access to information is indicative of that, and the promotion of certain ideologies. um, it's all about some kind of like brainwashing control, so that the money making machine can keep going. But it's on an illusion. Like, it's just something that we, collectively agreed upon to make real, right? But it's not even a collective agreeing. It's force. It's in force. Like, believe this or die. Like, it's like we're still under like fucking martial papal law. Or at least the society just completely echoes that, considering how recent it was in history and memory. And like, I think I said it before, that in my other videos, like, we are already, you're in a living matrix, right? Like, your perception is the matrix. The people you have around you, you know, we all create a perception field around us. Um, or just like, um, we live in this like Um, it is basically a matrix. It's a false light perception. It's it's an illusion, a delusion, a great delusion will come upon the people. Look at me, fucking channeling the Bible all of a sudden. That's been coming, man. It's a sign of the times, man. It's a sign of the times. I don't know what the sign is pointing to, but this is just back to this is why I started Aquarius United. It's like my heart and soul just can't allow it. It makes me wonder about the future of things as they are progressing. And like I think I'm gonna just keep on keeping on until like can't keep on no more, I guess. Cause there's there's just no other option but to live, right? So it just try to live the best way possible and just try to hurt people along the way more than the society already hurts us, so try to hurt each other more. Just realize this society has all of us in the fucking has all of us. No, it's like okay. I will if I'm. I mean, if I take on all the feelings of the times that my ancestry has been victimized, it is why my body is like this because I that pain is so real. Like the pain is so real. Just the awareness of like our ancestral pain is like crippling to our people. It's like the stuff that they did was just so unhuman, so demonic. It's like no wonder that white devil is like a regular term around the world now because of what these white folks did when they ran around the world, man. Disgusting. Like, to just the stuff. To even like, you can't even fathom the horror that people have been through at the hands of the fucking Europeans and these fucking neo Nazis today want to like act like their race is so proud and so amazing for being the worst, vilest creatures that ever walked this planet. And to have contaminated this earth with this ideology. To have harmed. This is hell. Y'all have made it into hell. Like, heaven is on earth. And colonialism and imperialism has turned, and fascism has turned earth into hell. Like, the turn of the 20th century was the introduction of hell. Had to be. Like, just like not even just as like the total like I don't know. It's just because there are some deeper things that come up when I think about this kind of stuff about like my inner divine, you know, channels and the wisdom that was passed to me, and just like this world is. And I know that like everyone will say, "Oh, you're not supposed to worry about this world and this world. Everything's within, and everything is within." Yes, but now it's Age of Aquarius. Okay, it's Age of Aquarius. And you know what Aquarius is about? Not fucking isolation. That's Gemini. That's my South Node. Because Gemini, all they want to do is they love to be around people. What they really need to do is be alone with themselves. This is what Gemini's like. But Aquarius is about community and networking and people and humanity and intelligence. There's no fucking way in the Age of Aquarius with Pluto and Aquarius going retrograde now, because ooh, it's like I think I think it was in a, oh no, I didn't post that IG live, but I might, and probably need to download that for it goes away. Hope it's not too late. But Pluto, the astrological movement, like Pluto going retrograde back into Capricorn in like next month, right? Pluto came in the house and saw what y'all was doing. Pluto's about to come back with the cleansing. Pluto's about to go. Pluto come through the door, and it's about to come back through with the. It's gonna go back through and get the broom and push all the rest of the shit out the fucking way, so life, so humanity can progress. Cause God fucking damn it, man. Like, there's a reason why I'm making the connection now. But like, it's time for all this shit that got built up to get pushed out. It's just the cycle of it now with Pluto and Aquarius. That's what the French Revolution was about, right? Because even then, the Europeans saw that they was how they mistreated each other. It just like the inhumanity that existed, and even after that point, it still existed for a long time, because it did, like they're still doing fucked up shit to black people. They're not gonna do it to each other anymore. And like the the I don't even know how you even like put it. Just the plain like way that society just it's like it's so obviously bad, right? Like it's so obviously bad, right? And people are trying to make it better, right? But then we visibly see these major people, major forces of authority, so-called, place themselves in places of authority, resist it. And the complexity of confusion that I feel in this, being in America and seeing how things have been spiraling for such a long time, and just reading about the spiral for the last 1,000 years. Scratch that. More like 2,000 years, right? And it's like, and like what even and then like even like just fucking just like tricked me up about this fucked up shit about the perception of black people. We are still it's like the fucking ah I don't even know how you even like it's like the kind of the dissonance in it is just like is like blowing my fucking shit apart because it's like there's this magical Negro trope that I think I started the video I was watching, you know, like of and okay, I was talking about Platon's Cabin, the magical Negro original. I should probably finish watching the video, but like nigga, like white people still considered black people mystical, magical, godlike beings and still put us through this shit. And then want to talk about God or talk about not believing in God? It's like, is the killing, like Dostoevsky's killing of God is like, was it? No, not Dostoevsky. Oh my God, I get messed up. Nietzsche saying that he killed God. I feel like he was referring to black people then at the time. Because it's like the gods, if Europeans considered the gods the great philosophers or the ones that the great philosophers learned from, and the philosophers learned from black people who are considered gods among each other, and then for y'all to pass the stories down as calling them gods, and I have no words. Like, and then to still, and this like, I mean, maybe I'm just like, maybe my brain is, I'm just like thinking, I'm overthinking. No, but this is just stuff I'm just like making connection. I'm just like, it's just, and it just, my brain can't just, I can't compute it because it's like, there's people who think of us as normal human beings, which is great. You know, we like more of that. Then there's like a different sect of people who think we're like or you know what? But it's like I don't know what people even like. I don't think people have an understanding of what they even think about, like what people even think of. Like there's just no like, I guess like that's the whole like journey of like liberal arts, right? Or because we want to like learn about ourselves and each other, and in the confusion that we have of all these like weird mythos about like each race, you know, and even though we play on our TikTok and stuff like that, it's funny, but it's like there are many people who still have like genuinely held beliefs based on things they seen in movies because they think movies tell the truth, or at least tell a symbolic truth, and which they do. But it's like, if the truth is symbolic, then why are like what's the deal? What's the deal with like being black and white people having a problem with it for like forever? Like there's what is it? Why is it like what? I'm not gonna even like that's definitely an answer I can't find out on my own, and I'm still because I've been like I think any is like I think that's like what black intellectuals want to do is like try to figure out why like why does racism exist in this way, or why did it develop in this way? And I can see it's developed as a form because of like you know inept inept people leading other people to go get more gold, you know, using religion as like a control piece. Like, is it the god of this? There's the god of this world, right? Is that what it is? Like, and then like to not even have like an accurate historical account of things that happened in the day. You know what I mean? It's accurate as far as the horrors that go, of course, and whatever survived burnings and rewrites and translations. Um, you know, not very much has survived from the continent, the ancient knowledge, right? And it definitely hasn't been translated because if I was if I was the ancient lost tribe of Israel that was sworn to protect like the Holy Grail, I would never come out fucking hiding. Are you kidding me? And I think if it's a true story, which they're always talking, and the whole fucking foundation of this society is based on a lie. So why wouldn't they chase after myths as well? Because it's either like the myth is real or not real, or it's real in some kind of way that they can make money off of it, or use it to exploit others, or to abuse power. You know, I guess I try not. I try to avoid. Like, I have a lot of empathy, and I try to have understanding for people, and I just can't have. I don't have any empathy. There's no human connection there about why any of these things are okay ever. They're absolutely born into a battlefield, but like the battlefield of our own thinking is, it's like these are like the daily demons that people, and it's like I'm just like articulating them right now. Like, this is just like something that's always like kind of in the background process of this is the background process of culture right now. And like there's still racist ass motherfuckers today. For what? Like, and it's like unjustified. It's always been unjustified, and then like it's just even more unjustified given the amount of knowledge that's out there about what's happened. And it's like, and then there's like there's so many, I don't know, seeing just being and seeing all the different arguments and whatever, and there's like the fear of retaliation. There's like uh that's a big thing. And then there's, or some people love to use that line at least to try to scare people, or like just so many fear tactics to try to stop like real deal justice from happening. Like, reading about Fannie Lou, read about any civil rights era leader and what the struggle was to try to get black people to, register to vote, and the shit that they went through. And it's like, I pulled a quote from her speech, and like, if they had treated us, if they hadn't treated us so badly so many years, they wouldn't be afraid for us to get the ballot. And that's the truth. Because the fact is, now that black people have rights, or that more people were just getting basic human rights, um, people can vote for like people they actually want. So the propaganda machine has been running like on like uranium to try to like get black people on the side of somebody, of some white person, and try to get them to forget, or not be aware that they're a white person that's part of society that's has all this operating in the background. They know nothing about it before in the past either. But They want your vote. They want your money. All of a sudden, it's cool to be like pro black and pan Africanist and Black Lives Matters, guys. As long as we're not actually doing anything to actually help black people but get their money, that's all we want. We don't want to actually improve their conditions and have them be treated like equal class citizens and and solve issues in third world countries by actually paying fair wages and and not being fucking greedy and and prideful about stolen resources. Like I think I reached a point where I need to like, have a friend to talk to now because this is just like how and why, and this is like, and it's like for me it's like it's like so much, and it's in my heart that's being like expressed right now that just wants to just cry and scream for like all the pain and agony for shit, bullshit, this raggedy ass shit. Earth is ghetto. This shit is so fucking ghetto, made by fucking stupid ass white supremacists proliferating a lie, a clone of a lie, a GMO crop with no nutrients, and promoting it as food. And they know for a fact it's not food. And they eat that shit too. That blue pill steak, yo. This is it's literally it's definitely literally I should read that short story because it probably explains it exactly. But like, and then also thinking about how like mental illness and like the fifth through has been like a way to attack black people as well because expressing this like fucking cognitive dissonance and perception of the actual observation of the world was perceived as like schizophrenic because it is fucking schizophrenic fuckers like the like look what we're looking like look what I just explained. Like this society is so broken, it literally can only produce mentally ill people anyways. That's why we have all these issues we have now. Like it's all it's the fucking wellspring. It's like the spring of insanity because of a proliferated foundational lie that not only America is based on, but Christianity is based on, which helped pursue the goals of white supremacy. It's 11:30. We live in society. That's all I gotta say. How do? What are we gonna? I mean, I'm just like I'm feeling a lot of emotions right now, obviously, because of this realization of things. And even though I was aware, I think there's a difference in like levels of consciousness. Obviously, there's a difference. There's a subconscious, and then there's our conscious mind, and and whatever varying levels of your perceptions of dimensions there are, but there's a level at which we perceive things, right? Like everything that's invisible light, of course, we perceive all that, whatever touches our eyes. But there's the invisible things, and you know what, y'all? I'll just see y'all when Pluto gets back to Aquarius next year, because it has been some absolute shit, hasn't it? The fucking last Pluto, like it's look, if I keep going, I'm gonna start getting to like weird mystical conspiracy level shit because like that's when you I think it's like when you get to a certain point in like your normal the conception of the world start to like peel away, and then you're working with esoteric forces, which are just infinite. And so all the different kinds of things reveal themselves, the inner workings of everything reveals themselves. And despite the fact that uh this we can absolutely change the world that we're in, and it continues to happen. And I think it's as if uh it's like it's like something happened in the universe and just like tipped the scales, and through and I mean it's whatever, the universe works in mysterious ways, and all that. Mysterious to our capacity for understanding. um I would not be so fucking uh hubristic to say that we understand a fraction of anything about the universe besides the own little map that we have on this planet. Yeah. And just a plane. Look, I just can't. It's like my ability to perceive different levels of the world and of the universe, and seeing how shallow everything has become, or just like a thin veneer, this false light, just to try to like pretend that we're not like, or for them to try to get us to think that we're not like living like unnaturally, or just like try to get us to ignore the horrors going on in the world that are still going on at the hands of the same type of people. And like I I just like you can only just let it go, because there's nothing else you can really do about it, because there's nothing to fix about the system. Before the system, I mean, it's like there's so many. I've heard different theories about the starting of this country too. The fact that there was like an Iroquois confederation, and there were, you know, everything was already established in this land by the Native Americans here, and then there was a great genocide and purge and erasure. That saddens me so deeply. It's like, for what? Do you think you'll get in that? You think if you out? No, I don't want to be just projecting all my angry thoughts, I guess, because it's like trying to figure out the rationale of that is not going to help me. It's not going to help anybody. It is simply, I can't. There's really no. The only explanation I can give to it is that it is evil, and just because of my complete confusion, utter understanding of why is it okay to purposely harm millions of people for the gain of like money and power. There's there's just no other word for it. And And as I've been reading about, like, you know, just throughout, like, just knowing being black, the fear of just being black in a white society that could just turn on you anytime. There's also the danger in me being like a strong leader in the community as a black woman and not explicitly for the goals of white supremacy either, right? Like, as long as I'm for the goals of white supremacy, then I am perfectly safe to like express any idea. But I must fearlessly express myself because that's what these leaders I've been reading about have done. It's what I've always done in my life anyway, but because of getting wrapped up in like the matrix, I let that part of myself go for a while for me to reawaken to just be like, oh shit, I almost like died. Like literally. And then like catching up again to where I'm at now. And man, I mean, I've just been like, it's like everything really is everything, right? Everything, everywhere, all at once, and it's just like, I still haven't seen that movie, but it's just the reality. But despite all of this stuff, it's like there's still no true, or I would say no real true, but like there isn't. I haven't paid attention to the news in a while, so maybe I should make an opinion on that actually. But um, the state of the world that we've been in, um, really does reveal like the chasms in the foundation of this shit, man, of this hell. And it's not even supposed to be hell. So I guess I need to like close this out. Yeah, it's like it's only by coming together, y'all. That's the answer. That's the answer that has always been the answer. And like we just going to keep going forward because like our ancestors suffered for us to keep going, and like it seems like the trajectory is that things will be righted. It's just by remaining detached from the world, obviously. And all this stuff is really like it's not attachment to the world. I think it's like really my detachment from the world because I see all this fucking shit in the world, and now it's like operating in freedom of my heart. And you know what? Like, hey, you know what? Like, honestly, if these if these folks gotta take me out because I want to make the world a better place, then maybe this world wasn't worth it. You know? Because only God will let me leave if I was supposed to. Man, goddamn. Reading the Bible about like the prophets that were like called the prophesied, but it was like, man, no. Yeah, exactly. Like that's exactly how I feel. I feel like Jonah in the well a bit. Like, bro, I do not want to be. It's like it's the duality of it's the fucking opposition of like the delusion versus reality and society being in the delusion and like I don't know if I can do that. It's like I think it's like my soul just wants to relax so bad. Like my my spirit is so exhausted of this shit of the landscape that we live in that my body is so fatigued because of it. Because of the magical, mysterious ways how the body and the mind work together, and just our DNA and how it expresses itself. And I'm tired as hell, man. Like just just knowing about the shit that our ancestors have gone through is exhausting. And black women is tired. Black women beat for centuries now, being burned at the stake, have our children from us, like, and I can't even have the peace of mind today with my children because the fucking black man I've been dealing with my whole life have been just like not it. And shit, there are any decent ones. I probably scared them off because I was damaged good, or I was unhealed, I'll say. Shit. But like, it's kind of like a no-win situation for black women right now, isn't it? Not gonna say it like that, but more like that's only on the ego level. Let me stop. But it's, I mean, as far as a man goes, whatever. Or if you're, but that's being concerned about society's perception of relationships, right? So let me not do that. Ugh. It's like the awareness of this stuff just caused my soul to revolution. And at the same time, the exhaustion of my DNA is like, fuck you. Fuck this world. And I'm walking a fine balance between those two feelings. And like I just I just I just give a fuck about my kids, you know, just being happy and safe. And the thing is that as part of that, I want the world to be a better place for them. So it's why it's part of the mission of Aquarius United. What a challenging world, or what a challenging place to navigate our soul through. Mm. But we gotta play the the game a little more to win, right? It's like the halfway point in the. I don't know, what act of the video game is this before the climax, or the ultimate big boss battle climax, right? That's coming up next year when Pluto gets back to Aquarius. So these folks done. I could just be no. Anyway, but these folks, man, this is just the fucking like destruction of peace. The absolute destruction of peace for anybody. for anybody because of this system that we live in. Ain't no way to live in peace at all because you always gotta keep working or keep worrying about some shit happening in this fucking world, in this culture, in this society. And it's like, it's not as if, no, because you have to imagine a world without capitalism and imperialism and realize it's a lot more fucking peaceful without over policing and bureaucracies and, you know, your rights being thrown out the window because some sect of congressmen don't want to, like, you know, they don't think women should have access to abortion, so that to finesse some legalese to make it legal to kill babies. You know, like, this is the kind of shit that's literally going on. You know, like, that to finesse some shit to dehumanize an entire people to legitimate to legitimate the slavery. You know, like the prison system is nothing but a slavery system still, right? That's why it's so big in America. And oh man, man, oh man, it doesn't stop. Like, you can't step anywhere outside of yourself. I don't say outside outside of any of these ideas that isn't like white supremacy, imperialism. Like, all of it is. Like, there's a the logical uh there's logical steps of inference to figure out, you know, why certain systems are the way they are today. And if you don't do the fucking mental, like, the scientific method step back, I don't know what the word is. I'm just, English is weird and I know a lot of words, but these are the right words in the right order some kind of way. But that's what I'm talking about though. Like, white supremacy is in literally everything. And it's crazy. For years I was listening to, like, and you know, it's just because of who I am, and I have this, like, totally polarized perception of the world that's also, like, balanced with the fact that everything is everything. But, like, nigga, this shit is so stupid. And then it's like, I'm in this, like, middle point in my life right now, or this phase of being on leave from my job because of a previous injury, or because of a traumatic injury, and not being able to perform certain functions at my job because of the machine. And sitting at a desk is just extremely painful for me right now. Like, literally, like, my body was, and then even that, and then, like, I have to, like, be a parent at home, and I'm exhausted from doing that just because of the trauma I've been through. And just wanting to, like, build my business because I just am exhausted of working for other people for realsies. Like, for real, like, that's what my spirit is tired of. I just don't be I'm not a fucking slave. I don't want to be a slave to anything, to anybody. And just, like, people just want to be happy, right? Like, people just want to live life, right? And just, like, do what they love. Like, this is the dream. This is the vision. Like, this is literally like Aquarius United. And because it's really from the heart, man. Like, this is why for everything that I am passionate about, because people are real. Not to say that like a total, but, like, with all the shit I've been through and perceptions that I have and interactions that I have, and I still just want to help people. After saying all that fuck everybody shit, yeah, la, la, this word is whatever, I still want to help people. And I even may create some selfish reason that I want to make the world a better place because I have children in this world. I think if I didn't have children in the world, children either, I will still be the same. I'll probably be, never mind, in a different place in the journey with, or different, with different things happen. As always, you know, because that's just life. But this mission from my heart of Aquarius United is like, why? This word has been made so terrible. We've been fed these false lies and these illusions and everything, and bullshit after bullshit after bullshit, and the psychic attacks and the propaganda and the the policies passed to try to destroy us, the money economic system to try to destroy everything just so nobody else can have it. Ah, it's it's crazy. It, it's it's the I just can't believe we're living. It's hard to believe that this is the reality that we're in. That's just it. And it's like I can't believe that like people have been fighting for rights and it gets resisted against. People want to be treated like human beings and then people are against that because of propaganda, because of social influence, peer pressure, fascist enforcement. Like, uh, I just am so like this is the world we live in. Oh man. And I have to, and then every one of us has to operate on this like shaky foundation every single day of our lives until it change until um or I mean for me I'm working towards making a new foundation anyways, but until the new foundation is, you know, squared away, you know, the fucking triangulation pole is planted, you know, praise shot. And um but until that happens, we're still operating on this like absolutely abysmal, broken, false light system institution. Oh man. We gotta live in this every day until it's better. And we gotta keep our hope on it, keep our faith on it, keep working towards it. And we getting towards there. We getting there. We on our way. We on our way. But bruh, do we want to be on our way up out this bitch too at the same time? Because sometimes I think that's where the apathy and nihilism comes from in the world. Because it's like, okay, I'm not gonna contemplate everything in the universe right now. I just need to get that part about how the fucking insanity of being black and being perceived in such a weird way, and like the implications that must have on like just regular people interactions. You know, like I have a white boyfriend now, and I can tell that some of the things I do probably like, I mean, like, when it's their own past. But like, I know that stuff I do probably like either uh I know there must be like a couple things I did. It must be like insane to like conceptualize, but then like, or the way that I see the world might be just so crazy. It's so different from his, and I'm teaching him a lot. But white people should be listening to black people even when they're not fucking them. Okay, like that part too. Like there's so much in this. Oh my god, man. I I'm I am. I have to make lunch. I'm gonna make a party. I'm gonna continue this.